This is going to be a fantastic show. Miss Daphine asked, how did we find her?
Mhm.
And I shared with her, when things are in line, it just happened. God has a way of bringing people together at the right time. And I always want to credit my fantastic staff for doing such extensive research and finding the right people and the right guests to come on the platform.
Oh, well, I'm very humble.
And so I am very humble and humbled that you would accept our invitation to come on. I hope that this experience will be none like any other.
Well, I hope so too. Well, no, we're not going to hope it will be.
All right. Like I told you guys earlier, Miss Daphine, man, author. She's an inspirational speaker, retired parole officer. She's a podcast host, a criminal justice expert. So she know what she's talking about around this camp. So, man, y'all better tune in. You better tune in. Tell your friends. Go, man. Y'all better come on in.
Sleep on this show today. With that being said, Miss Daphine, tell the people a little bit more about yourself.
Well, he just said it all.
Oh, sure. Okay, and the show's over.
The doors of the church are now open.
Okay, then. Well, Miss Daphine, would you like to add anything else?
Well, it's a lot to add. So I guess the retired parole officer would kind of kick it off to my journey and where I'm at now.
Yes.
And so I always wanted to be in criminal justice. I had an uncle we call Uncle Big. He worked for the constable's office. And so I was a little girl watching him and seeing him carrying his gun and riding on the motorcycle. And so here I am, I'm thinking, oh, I want to be just like that. So of course, when your motives are not good, your intent, you'd be like, oh yeah, I want to do this. But when you have a real motive behind it,
right.
yes, when it's a motive though. But check this out. So growing up, preacher's kid and everything, so I know about the church of God in Christ.
All right.
So but anyway, growing up, becoming a teenager, I would see my uncle and I just thought it was so cool. So I wanted to be a cop. I wanted to be HPD. And so I'm thinking them early years in the 20s, and you know how we be when we become little lady and everything. So my motive for being a cop, I envisioned how I would ride the motorcycle, wear them tight pants.
All right now.
And makeup and looking good.
You was gonna look just like your uncle, huh?
Yeah.
I would be just like what you say, Uncle Big.
Uncle Big.
Yeah.
Because when he be on that motorcycle, I just envision and recalling him. God rest his soul. But when the motives are not good, that's when it don't always happen. Yeah. So I had to, because the motives. Now I really wanted to be a cop. And in my 30s, I had already been married, had a baby, and then I applied and went through the little process, and it was like skirt. So you got to lose about 100 pounds. So okay, that was a hurdle. So I was like, oh, I can do that. But you know what I did instead? Unbeknown, I got pregnant.
Oh, you so great. You got pregnant again.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Had
Lord said.
It was something else with this. And so went on 5 years later. Well, had the little girl.
All right.
And then 5 years later, at 40, still couldn't do nothing because now I'm too old. I get another baby. I call him
at 40.
At 40, I call him.
What you say, Sarah?
Well, yeah. Well, I was trying to be like Mary because I was like, so I call him little Jesus.
You call him Jesus?
My baby boy. My
That's
baby
a blessing.
boy.
That's a blessing.
So, but anyway, so I wind up being able to still be in the criminal justice system. I went on ahead to get my degree from Texas Southern University.
Hey,
all right.
Okay. And so I get my undergrad in criminal justice, public affairs / administration of justice. And so did that, wind up teaching school, substitute teaching. Then I got a long-term assignment. And just kind of something I said I didn't want to do. And I don't mind sharing this. I'm very, open to things that I do. I always said I don't like children. So I don't like children. And I had the most of the children out of me and my sisters, And then I got a bonus kid who I loved very dearly, like mine. So, but anyway, so I wind up teaching school, getting in the system, and the little kids loved me to death, and I didn't know why. I was so mean. And so I'm being honest.
So you thought, huh?
So I thought, yes.
You were firm with them.
Yeah, I was firm. That's a better word. Yes, I definitely gave them structure. And so I remember when school was out, last day of school for the school year, I saw the little girl sitting up, I'm standing on the side of it. So I'm saying, all right, y'all have a good summer. I'm glad y'all gone. The semester's over, school is out. And then all of a sudden, these little girls come running towards me. Miss Jack, we're going to miss you. Miss Jack, we're going to miss you. And I'm like, y'all get away. Anyway, didn't get to succeed long term with that because God had another plan for me. And so wind up, didn't pass the certification, not ashamed to say, after taking it so many times.
That's okay.
And so wind up, opportunity came for me to be a parole officer.
Look how he do it. Probably full circle.
Yes.
He had to take you down this path so you can appreciate when you come over
Exactly.
here.
Exactly. And not necessarily being associated with anybody who's dealt with the criminal justice system directly. And so I'm thinking once I got the job and everything, aced the interview, they were like, who is this lady? We want her and everything. And so wind up going to the academy for 6 weeks, and I couldn't pass certification, but I go to parole and be the class president. Okay, and pass the test.
It's your time now.
Yes, yes. And it's just really crazy when I think about it. But went on and they had told us how bad the criminals are, and they coming out of prison, and I'm gonna get some that have disease and just they gave me, and I'm thinking, oh my God, am I in the right?
They were dehumanizing people. So
already.
They were dehumanizing so that when you sit with them, you don't even have to respect them as human beings.
See, that's just what they were doing. And so I'm setting myself up
for oh my God.
Yes, let me get my water.
Okay, but God had another
So how
plan.
long were you a parole officer then?
I was a parole officer for 12 years. But the journey started when I became a parole officer, like I said. So I was a parole officer for 12 years. And so got there, my first day on the job, we finished the academy. And so I'm set. I had my latex gloves, the Lysol spray, and just, I had his chair or her chair sitting way over in the corner.
I'm going to stop you.
Yes.
Because we're going to take this conversation.
Yes.
You're truly talking about the injustice.
Yes.
Just getting started and how they change the mindset.
Yes.
I told y'all this is getting ready.
They
force
us to look at our own self.
What they were doing was they were doing a reprogramming of you and all the other ones that come out immediately. This is exactly how you're going to see them. This is how you're going to treat them. Don't touch them. Don't even become connected
Those
to
are
them.
Not your
how
loved
can
ones.
you help them if you cannot understand them?
Exactly.
Ooh, well, this
you
thing,
fix that up.
Ooh, and I'm not stopping you.
No.
We're going to dig into this.
Absolutely.
Because it touched me.
Okay.
Just hearing it. And I really honestly want to go there.
Yes.
Because I believe that you were taken through this experience for a reason.
Yeah.
The schools, we wanted you to look at the babies because the babies are someone that could possibly end up in this situation.
Yes.
And then he said, I'm not going to keep you there because I need you to come out of those that didn't have anybody over here to care about them.
Yes.
So when they come in front of you here, you're going to see them as human beings.
Yes,
and then while you're doing that, you're going to teach the other people around you. Put them cans of Lysol and everything else up and treat these people like human beings. We can really have a show.
Yeah. So let me ask you, Miss Sister Priscilla.
Just call me Priscilla.
Priscilla, when did you recognize
what was going on?
The effect they had put on you when you had that this person sitting so far away in your life. So when did you realize, wait a minute, I can't treat this person like that?
First day. My first day. My first person.
The first person.
The first person. He came there like for 8:00 in the morning. I had him scheduled for 8:15. And so I strutted on down the hallway and walked out there. So I'm ready. I'm bracing for this. This is going to be, open the door. Mr. So-and-so. First guy jump up. Slacks. Press shirt.
Dressed.
Necktie. His little credentials. And I'm looking at him like,
this ain't what I've been taught.
No.
This is not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And he come towards me and I'm looking at him just kind of starstruck, so to speak.
And his hand out to shake your hand.
Yes, he did.
I feel like I was right there.
Yes. You. Yes. And he came on in. And so the rule is they have to walk like 6 feet in front of us. So the 6 feet rule was nothing new to me when this other stuff came. So he was walking in front of me and I'm walking and I'm not a nasty girl, but I was like, oh, he's so fine.
Yes.
But he was handsome.
Nice looking young man.
Nice looking young man.
Yes, exactly.
And he came on in and I'm thinking, that's not
what I was.
Yeah.
I was gonna be.
And we got
and
to
you
the
had
office.
yourself braced with your nose in the air.
I was ready.
You had the fake face.
You was finna jump right on his case.
The look was like, I wish you would.
Right. Oh yeah, I was ready.
You was ready for it.
So then when you called his name, did you call it with an attitude? Is Lawrence Carter here?
How she called your name? How she would have said it? Say it one more time. How did you ask the folks?
Is Lawrence Carter here? She got called my name like that.
I was not expecting this.
So did you have yourself braced with your attitude and check already there, huh?
My mama taught us you have to treat everybody nice. So I didn't get to go there.
Okay.
You didn't get to go.
I didn't get to go there.
Okay.
And so I said, good morning, Mr. So-and-so. I'm your new parole officer, Miss Jack. Come on in. And so as I stated, he had to walk in front of me. And I'm thinking to myself, this is not what we learned. This is not.
There's a whole lie.
Exactly.
A whole lie.
A whole lie, to tell the truth. That was a whole lie.
Wow.
And so we got to the office and we sat down. So at this point, I'm comfortable because he's looking decent. You know what I mean? It's not like,
Now, he's not the father of your second child.
Hush. Not right.
You was not expecting this. See, I gave you the disclaimer before.
Oh my God.
He is the one. Did I tell you? I said, my husband is the one.
I'm just listening to the story.
I gave you the disclaimer. I said, he is the one that's
You sure did.
Okay,
you sure did. So, but it's just catching me off guard. And to add that to that funny, that particular second child is a yellow child.
So it's a possibility could have been a married baby.
See? Unfortunately, he's not the one.
No.
I'm not the father. You are not the father. But anyway, oh my God, that's too funny. So, but anyway, so we got to talking. He pulled out his check stub. When I looked at his check stub, it was more than my monthly salary.
Wow.
More than I got every month. I said,
he just got out of prison.
Well, he'd been out, so I'm the new parole officer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So y'all they changed him up.
Yes.
Okay.
When a new parole officer, they pulled from the other officer's case and make us a case, and so that's how we get everybody. In the area, we had certain areas and everything that we went into. Okay. And so, but anyway, long story short, my first client, I looked at the paycheck and I was like, dang,
something wrong with this.
I said, maybe I'm in the wrong business.
I know that's right.
Thinking like, what kind of trouble I can get in?
I love it. Look, I think y'all might be kids.
Just like I know, right?
Do it, huh?
Yeah, but long story short, so that set me up, as you just perfectly said it, and didn't know down the road, some years later, what I was going to be anticipating and what I was going to be encountering.
Yes.
And so I'm going in with the idea of kind of moving up in parole and becoming a supervisor or a trainer. These are the skills I have. And just doing, but seemed like for whatever reason, I was always bypassed. Now I'm good, very strong ethical values and wanting to be the good person and that how we were raised to be.
Yes, ma'am.
And so just going along. So I tried to apply to be a supervisor. So I went up against some people who had been there. I'll let that slide. And so next time it come up again, maybe 6 months to a year, I said, oh, I'm gonna try because I want to be a supervisor so I can really show them how to really do and treat people and everything. Because at this point in time, I'm doing everybody good. I've had the guys say, Miss Jack, you're the first officer to treat me like a human.
Oh my God.
And so I would share with them, I would say, hey, you know, I'm 1 foot out of the prison door myself. You know, you mess with my family or whatever the case may be, I will come at you. And so they learn to appreciate me and not knowing. Hold on, Mr.
See, I'm gonna tell you right now, Miss Jackie, you was wrong in the eyes, Miss Jack. You was wrong in the eyes of the people.
Okay.
What people?
I'm gonna tell you why.
What people?
Please break it down.
Yes, ma'am. You was helping too many these young brothers coming out of there.
Really?
Yeah. See, you was helping them. You was prospering them. You were elevating them too much. And see, you wasn't putting them back in the cell like some of the other folk wanted to do.
True.
You know.
So therefore, she was taking money out of the system.
So she couldn't. We can't supervise her. We can't make her supervise her because she gonna train these other ones to do the things that she doing.
So then we got
we got too many people being helped.
Okay.
All right. I'm just breaking it down.
And you know what? You are kind of sort of going and stepping all on the toes
all right.
of the people.
Yeah.
So
we ain't calling out no nationalities of that. We just saying the peoples.
Yeah. You couldn't say it any other way but better. That was good.
All right.
And that's just, you described me to the T.
Yes.
And that's just what I did.
Well, y'all, we just walk this thing. And I thank you so much for being...
Is it over?
No, it ain't over. We're just getting started. No, I thank you for what you did. And you're bringing... You're in line. No, you're in line.
What you say? Wait a minute. Now I got a lot more to offer here.
You in line to show, and I just appreciate you being so candid.
Absolutely.
So that we can take this and have a conversation.
Absolutely.
Because you make it easy. I want to ask you, I don't need to ask you why you went into it. I know that you were chosen, tapped on the shoulder. Yeah. And it was ordained for you to walk this path. So thank you for because
she was ordained by Uncle Big. Uncle Big had already directed her. He already made the path.
There. She said, he said he was riding the motorcycle. But you're gonna go walk up in them doors. And you're gonna touch the people on the other side.
Big shout out to Uncle Big there.
All right, let me ask you a question. In your opinion, what is the biggest issue that the Black community is facing today?
Oh, that's a big question.
Well, I'm gonna do a two-part of it.
Okay.
I'm gonna say in the justice system, and then I'm gonna come back in the community as a whole.
Okay.
So I'm gonna let you think on that. You ready to dive in?
Oh, because I can go so many ways.
You can go any way you want to.
Just sharing what I think the thing that happened is that we don't get educated. We too busy, and I'm going to be extremely raw with this.
But this is the Candid Conversation radio show.
And I put it live on my Facebook page. Somebody gonna be like, "Girl, what you talking?" But anyway, with that, it's because we don't educate ourselves. We, as a whole, as our community, we too busy. I can't stand because you wearing that pretty cross around your neck and I don't have one. And that's amongst ourselves.
We only know how to say Carl, you sure look good.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I love what you're doing.
Exactly.
Can you help me?
Exactly. So that's just the dynamic, and it's for real.
It's very real.
We might say, "Oh, she just said no." It's for real.
It's real.
That's how it is. But thank God for my mom and dad, because they taught us that we are no better than anybody,
or no less.
but are no less. You're gonna respect. You're gonna be nice to people, and my mom and dad both were pistols, the good pistol, and having those genes of being straightforward and honest and telling people when they need to be told.
All right.
Don't bite your tongue and all that kind of stuff.
You my son. You asked how. Let me look, Lord.
Yo,
She asked
every
how,
man put his leg on one pants, one leg at a time.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
I know we got in line. We're in line because this was meant to be.
Yes.
My father taught me.
Yes.
And taught us.
Yes.
Every man put his pant leg on one leg at a time.
Yes,
Fear no man, but respect them all. Is that not in line with
that's
what you was
in
talking?
Yes, ma'am, it is. Yes, ma'am, it is. And that's just how in our community, the reason why, you know, we the first. I had a chance to do my internship at ATF, which was right down the street from here. And I don't know if the office is still there, but anyway, I did my internship. So again, I'm raw going into and finding out. And this was prior to me graduating. So I experienced going to a raid. We had to do a raid early in the morning. Now you in your suburban house sleeping and getting up, going to work and doing whatever. But it's so much goes on here in this city that they don't get everything on camera. And so we raided a house in the area and got there, and it's like, oh my God, this goes on while I'm asleep. Wow. Catching the person, I saw cocaine for the first time, and looking at the person who they had already handcuffed, young black man, sitting there, and he just looked so innocent and precious. And here go my heart, my tough heart prior to going to parole. My tough heart was like, oh my God, it just kind of melted me. Yes.
Because you saw a human being.
Yes.
Be your child, your nephew.
Girl, oh my God, you said it. I think this was really supposed to be.
Yes. Yes.
But let me, because we have to take a pause for the calls right now.
Okay, perfect.
Yes. As your co-host, it's my duty to inform you. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Because I keep going.
Yes. So you have another question you want her to ponder
I
on
still
before
want her to come back
finish with
and
that.
finish with this.
Okay.
I want her. It was the injustice. Wait.
That's okay.
When you
biggest issue
in the Black community.
Yeah.
So I want us to come back.
Okay.
And I really want us to have that conversation on that.
Sound good.
Okay, Miss Crystal.
Yeah.
Since y'all are keeping me on track, I appreciate it.
We'll be right back with you guys.
I told y'all it's gonna be so good, but I didn't know I was gonna get in trouble.
Okay, well, this is the
Pay some
season
bills
to
and we coming on
reap
back.
what I sow.
Woo. All righty, we are back here, and of course, I really want us to dig into with our wonderful guest, Miss Daphine. I want her to answer that question for me.
Absolutely.
The biggest issue in the Black community, in your opinion?
And as I stated earlier, education. You need to be educated in the system. You need to understand, because we know that we're at risk. And I mean, I'm from the suburbs. I didn't really have no reason to know about criminal justice or whatever the case may be. So being able to study it in college, it was like, oh, wow, so it really interests me. And then to fast forward, be in the system, part of it, and protecting the community. And the thing that I did learn from that is that the people are not educated. They're not educated. They're too busy, want to jump to conclusions. And I would always remember, and I refer back to my mom a lot, because the things that she was doing, I thought was bad. She was strict, the preacher's kids, and she, we had to go to church, all of that. But what she was doing was fixing me.
Yes.
I can speak for myself. My sisters have their own journey, but I can speak how I prospered or how I, what's the right word?
Processed.
Yeah, how I processed and how I took what she was doing, what she gave me to be here today. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah. Now,
So in other words,
yes.
what I'm hearing you say, you took those teaching in those moments seriously.
Yes, ma'am.
And because you took them, doors were open up.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's just how that rolls. So with us not being educated on how the system works, we too busy about, getting our nails done and making sure we got our hair, flied and all that kind of stuff, and what type of cell phone. I'm just naming just a little bitty things.
But those things are important. It's fine to have.
It's fine to
have.
Understand what happened with the system.
Yes.
And we are quick to say, I know he didn't do it, and blah 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 blah. Now I'm a firm believer when I hear that someone has committed a crime, and this is just, I think it's the criminal justice people mentality, is that when somebody says something happened or they did, first thing we want to do is, he must have done it. And so that's how I was until it hit home.
Okay. That's how God does things.
Yes.
But then wasn't that our...
Well, there's two different rules out there, You got the rule of guilt, innocent until proven guilty.
Yes.
On one side, on one side of your hand.
Right.
And then it's guilty till proven guilty on the other side of the hand.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh my
goodness. But it's also in line with the thought of the day. We're talking about until you're enraged, and basically until it hits you.
Yes.
Until it hits you, it becomes personal for you. You really can't see the injustice that's going on. So you're operating out of a different set of rules. So it hit you.
It hit me.
And that's got to be difficult too to see the injustice as you sitting in there.
Yeah.
Looking at this take place.
And so it all really came when I had one of the guys who came in one particular day for his office visit, and we just chatting. And so I'm, been knowing him now for months, or almost a year, if not more. And we just talking. And so I said, what did you say? What did you do? Why did you go to prison? And so he said, Miss Jack, I went to prison for this, that. I said, oh, okay. He said, Miss Jack, listen. I said, what? And I was kind of stern with them too. I said, what? He said, I didn't do it. I said, what do you mean? Apparently you did. You went to prison.
Right.
You were found guilty.
Right.
Whatever the case may be. Education.
Education.
Now here I am thinking a certain way. And here he come. Not that I didn't hear the word before, but I didn't think about the word. But he broke it all the way down. He said he was sitting in the county for 2 years. He got tired
and he took a plea. And that's how they get him.
And that's how
every
they get
time.
Him. And then here I go, that was stupid.
But you wasn't sitting in that prison for 2 years, and they kept resetting and resetting. And you over here eating this, or you being abused by some of the other prisoners in there. I just want to get out of here.
Yes. And so when they came, 2 years sitting in the jail, they came and said, hey, you can take this and you just get a couple of months at the state jail.
Wow.
And he took that.
So along with probation.
Parole.
With parole. Which is another rope around you.
So since you said that, what is the difference? Tell our people, what is the difference between probation and parole?
The difference with probation is county, local, county.
Okay.
Parole is state.
Okay.
So
when you go on the prison side, state side, it's called parole. When you are here in the county, it's called probation.
Yes.
So see, educate us. And the other side of that is, how do they determine? So when they're getting ready to sentence you, the sentence is determined whether you're going to stay on the state side, where you're going to be on the state side, or you're going to be in the county.
Right.
And then from there is how you're going to see your parole officer, or how they're going to manage you.
Yeah. So once they're convicted, it all depends on the level of the crime.
Okay.
So you have crimes that are misdemeanor. You have crimes that are first degree, second degree, third degree felonies, and all of that. And so it all depends on the crime. And I'm not going to break it down because I can't quote the code. But just to share that when you get convicted, let's just say it was a first degree felony.
Okay.
And they did it. Okay. And they take a plea of dropping it down to a misdemeanor, one of the levels of the misdemeanors. And so that way they're only going to get probation. So they get 10 years probation. And they got to go in every month and see their probation officer. Let's just say that particular person get to cutting up and mess up, stop reporting, stop paying his fees. Now he has to go and face the judge on this misdemeanor that once was a felony.
Now that felony coming back.
The felony's coming back because they're going to revoke his probation. Ooh. And so that 10 years that he got for the probation, they're going to drop that and put him in prison where he get to serve the rest of the time. Let's just say he was 2 years in on the probation. Wow. So he has to go and revoke, send him to prison, and that misdemeanor jump back up to the felony.
Right.
Wow.
Yes. It's all a setup.
Did y'all hear? You have to be educated. Now we go. Oh Lord.
I got a question.
Okay.
You are a special and a unique individual.
Thank you.
That came into the system.
Yes, sir.
And there are many more like you that came into the system. And my question is, what percentage of blacks that came into the system on the officer side that bought into the myth that the inmates would not?
Okay, wait, there you go. That's a great question.
That's an excellent question.
Because there's a lot of them that bought into. Remember when you were telling us?
I love it.
They were educating you on what to expect out of the individuals that you're going to be officer over.
They were brainwashed. Yeah. So how many got brainwashed?
And see,
let's just say a percentage.
You recognize it on your first individual.
Okay, would that be? I love this face. Would that be?
Show that face, Crystal.
Would that be? Yes. Would that be?
So were you a Lone Ranger in this?
Is that part of the reason why you didn't get promoted? Did some get promoted, or was it just a? Okay. So is there a large percentage of us that really need to educate ourselves and fix our heart?
Let's just stick with educating ourselves. Okay. And really fix our heart. Okay. And realize that we can get in trouble too.
Yes. We're not above.
Right. We're not above.
Okay. Okay. And we have family members
too. That can be sister.
Right.
Yes, thank you.
Did I help y'all?
Baby, you did it.
Because I know that face. I said, let me go get my sister right there.
I already know. There's a whole lot of them that.
I had to go get her.
You forgot where you was brought up.
I had to go. Okay, well, we're going to take this disclaimer. Okay. But we're going to move on over here. And
but hold on. You better sit yourself down. I'm the one over here and you over there.
Oh, yes, that's how they talk to them, as if you're beneath.
I'm done.
Okay, but God, but here's what God will do for those that say you better sit. He's gonna come right here on your shoulder. He's gonna tap you on your shoulder. Then that don't work. Then he's gonna come touch your heart, because he has a way of getting your attention. He put you in that position to help somebody and get a check while you're there.
That ain't how the vast majority look at that.
Well, but I didn't.
They ain't there to help nobody.
Well, but I didn't. I said he put you. I said God put you in that. God put you there in that seat to help somebody, and then you felt like you and get a check. But you say, I'm just coming to get a check. That ain't about me.
What was he saying? What was his argument?
What was your argument?
I said, everybody don't go into this to help other people. They go in there to help themselves. They're not looking at the other individual as a human being. They're not. They bought into the whole myth of what was being taught to them. And they just bought into it.
I agree. Now let's talk about, since we're talking about, this is really good. And let's talk about some of the young, since you're in education in school early. Let's talk about some of the uneducation, us not knowing and understanding how to educate ourselves. And we have these young kids that are getting put into the system in high school, middle school, and then their parents are so afraid they take a plea bargain, or because they get court-appointed attorneys, and they have the court-appointed attorneys have so many cases, so they really are not doing anything.
They work for the system.
They work for the system. But I really want to talk about how some of these high school young boys.
African American young men,
well,
you talking about?
It's not just African Americans. We have Hispanics. It's kind of going across. I think it's a social economical issue.
That is one. That's for sure.
That's for sure. It is a large percentage of African Americans and Hispanics. But I really do believe that there is a certain class of individuals, young people that are ending up in the system.
Yes, ma'am.
Because if you have any kind of money, they know how to get you out of there. How do you deal with those, or did you deal with any of those young 17, 18-year-old young boys?
Unfortunately, I didn't really get to deal with juvenile justice that much. But being the opportunity with my nonprofit, we had an opportunity to talk with the young kids. And I'm probably jumping the gun. With my nonprofit, we have a group called Young People Gathering. And I started that group, started out as young men gathering, and I started it with my son and his friends and their parents. And and the reason for it is because I was looking at him with both parents, siblings, the dog, cat, a house, and everything, the picket fence. So if you drove up, you'd be like, "Oh, look at the Jack family! Oh, they're so beautiful."
Perfect.
Don't exactly. But not knowing that we had damage inside
behind that door.
Yes, behind that door.
Okay.
And so I took that with his friends, and we would talk to them and tell them about the system. We had a judge to come in to talk, and attorneys and other youth who was going to college and doing things to keep them focused on. And that's where that part is lacked, because they're not being educated.
Okay. Now, with that being said, in the school system, do you think, and of course, we are in no way trying to put a black mark on the school or any school, but we're just talking frankly here. Do you think in some cases, in some district, they have a tendency to gather more of the minority young boys and girls, and kind of they start off with sending them to the principal's office for just talking. Then it goes up, you're disruptive. And then it goes up to, because now the kids are frustrated. And so now they're lashing and arguing back and forth. Now they need to get the police officer that's on campus involved in it. Do you think that is just a way of working them into, they're kind of targeted and working into the system? Or
possibility. I think back when I was teaching school, 6th grade social studies, and honestly, I had this little boy in my class I didn't like.
Because you didn't like the kids. Okay.
So that's all he needed to do was really cut up.
Yeah.
I wasn't mean to the children, but when you get that one that just can't, just can't. And so I made a mistake, and we were talking, having a conversation, because I didn't let them talk in class. They came in there. I taught my kids. I was very, as y'all said, stern. Made sure. So this particular day, they kind of had a little free day. And so they were talking. And so I don't know how we got on the conversation of, if an adult hit a child, what would you do? The child was saying, "Well, Miss Jack, if you hit me, I'm going to hit you back." And so here I go. "You said what?" And so I said, "Say it again. You're going to, Miss Jack, if you hit me, I'm going to hit you back."
A kid, 6th grader.
Yeah, he was a 6th grade. I said, "So-and-so, go get the officer." And she said, "Go get the officer." "Miss Jack, what?" "Don't talk." She go get the officer. He comes in, and I was kind of dirty. I said, "He just threatened to hit me."
Now you know you was wrong for that.
So wrong for that. And what happened out of that?
The officer came, took him, and he was gone for 3 days. But I learned.
You learned from that.
I learned from that. And when he came back, he was very humble. And that's why he learned. But the moral of the story is, you have to educate. You got to know. You have to know what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
That's right.
And that was my second time to a wake-up call of jumping to conclusions.
Mm-hmm.
Why is this child bad?
Yes, there you go. Bad.
Yeah.
That baby's going through something at the house behind that picket fence and that perfectly cut grass in your mind. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's deep.
Lesson learned.
Lesson learned.
Lesson learned.
And I hope to this day that young man learned his lesson.
I
as
hope
well.
so too.
Wow.
I hope so too.
Wow.
But again, back to and conclude our, and I'm taking over your show.
No,
but
this is what we
just thinking of why we don't, because we don't educate ourselves.
And y'all hear Priscilla keep saying the same thing over and over. Educate yourself.
Educate yourself.
Educate yourself.
Understand the system.
Yeah.
And part of that also is learning, not just taking the word of what someone says.
Mhm.
Take the time to also do your own research.
Do your own
Do
research.
your own. That's educating.
Yes.
But do your research. Just
Find
because
out.
someone come and tell you
Mhm.
that your son or someone did something.
Exactly.
Don't jump to the conclusion that everything that they're putting there is just what it is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
9 times out of 10, it's a little bit more behind the scenes
Right.
that
That's
you
right.
don't know. They're not going to put everything on the news.
No, they're
It's
not.
like, let me tell you something.
Mhm.
You know your own child.
We're going there.
You know your own child.
Mhm.
And you know that boy did that at home.
Mhm.
So you know the people ain't lying on that boy at the school up there.
That's
You
right.
know.
Well,
Now I'm gonna go there because I was part of the setup.
yes.
You know, and he's doing this and doing that. They used to call you, and then when I went up there, and the boy was slumped in his chair, and the principal was telling me what he did, and he asked my son a question, and my son's response was, "Yeah, man."
Whose son?
My son.
Our son. That's okay.
Our son. Yeah, man. Whop.
Right there in front of him. Oh, yeah.
I was waiting for that.
Oh, yeah.
Whop. Right there in front of the principal.
I know.
And so after that, the principal would call me, Mr. Carter. So-and-so's doing so-and-so. I said, all right, I'm going to deal with him. Because he knew I would deal with him. But he got out. He started doing it too much. And he called me one day. He said, Mr. Carter, your son is in the cafeteria laughing. And I say, he laughing? Is he back there laughing by himself or something? Then we need to address another issue. No, there's some other kids back there, but he's laughing. This is gospel radio. I can't tell you everything I said to that principal.
The radio station is not responsible for the words that's coming out.
But it was in the line of don't call me no about no with that.
Yes.
If he done something serious, call me. Don't call me about every little petty thing trying to,
But that's how it started. That goes back to that they were calling and they were calling, oh, he doesn't have a pen. He didn't come to school class prepared. Give him a pencil.
Right.
You're gonna send him out, give him a pencil.
Right.
And so the last thing that they did, that wasn't actually the last. So then, because he was wearing them out, because it's a whole process of beating us down. So now they want to put him in an alternative school.
Oh my
Very
goodness.
smart. So they call him and they say, well, we think he would be better if we can put him in a small class.
Part of the setup.
It's a setup in a small class, which my son was very smart, very smart. And so he wasn't being challenged in school. So that's where the behaviors and stuff is coming out. So they called him and he said, this principal, we're going to put him in we want to put him in a small class environment. We think it's a better
way of saying alternative.
So he calls, I get home and he says, oh, Valerie, we're going to have a meeting tomorrow. I agreed that he's not paying attention to what they said. I said, oh, really? Oh, they are? I said, they ain't put my child in. We go to the meeting.
You the real mama.
Oh, we go to the meeting. I let them
She is the real mama.
I let them present everything that they said. Principal up there talking about, I let it. Okay. And we gonna do this. I said, well, let me ask you a question before we go any further. You said this is a better environment and he can learn better. I said, would you put your child there? He said, well, we're not talking about my child. I said, well, but you're talking about mine. So if you're gonna put my child there, and you say it's going to be better for my child, then I need to know that this is a place you would put your. Well, no, I said, well, mine ain't going either. Y'all can tear that paper up. He ain't going nowhere. Y'all gonna start doing your job. And so then I made them every Friday. Every Friday, when they wanted to go home, I scheduled a meeting, round table meeting with every teacher, every principal. At the end of the day,
you the real deal.
Oh, I'm the real deal.
Wow.
So with that being said,
I want Crystal to get herself together over there because we got to take another pause for the calls at the top of the hour here.
Oh, no.
And we're gonna let Miss Crystal bring us a little song in a radio,
we talking about
commercial, whatever.
Racial injustice.
And we got a lot more to cover, but we have a short time. But we'll be right back. Welcome back to the Love and Victory Show with Val. We have Miss Daphine Priscilla Brown Jack in the building today.
Who we got, baby?
Daphine.
Daphine is in the house.
Priscilla.
What else?
Brown.
What?
And Jack.
We got all
she
that.
all of them.
All that.
And she in the building, and she is well versed in criminal justice. She's well versed in injustice in our communities as well. And so I hope that you guys are truly enjoying the candidness of a conversation we're having. And wow, Miss Daphne, you really blessed us this morning.
Aww.
You have really blessed us this morning.
Wow.
And I hope that somebody out there listening can get something educational to help us
community.
Help the community and help us save our children. Because this criminal justice system is, quite frankly, just built.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Just for our young Black males and females. And I know a lot of others are involved, but the majority rule.
Yes.
And
I actually want to take and thank you, baby, for really breaking and bringing us back as you always do.
And did we get through that question pretty good?
I think we got through it because now I'm getting ready to go somewhere else.
Okay.
And I think what I really want to talk about is, and my heart is really being pulled on the young, because if we don't fix the young,
exactly,
then
I agree.
We're going to end up with so many that are ending up in the prison system and in the county jail.
Well, if we don't educate our parents, we can't save the young. Too many of the parents today want to be younger than the young. Too many parents today want to be friends with their children.
They don't
Too many parents are not parenting their children. Their children are raising themselves, and the outcome is what it is at this point.
Yeah.
So we got to get to a place where we start not being afraid of our own children.
I think the word afraid is in some cases is true, but I also think there are some parents, and I think some of the younger, it's easier to give them a phone or give them an iPad or just let them just go on over here versus dealing with the problem that you see that is stirring up right now.
It's gotten so broad that people are afraid to say, when we grew up, it wasn't only my mom and my daddy that said something to me.
Yes.
The people down the street would get on my case as well. It was a whole village of folk. And now today, people are, quite frankly, afraid to say anything to these young people today. And we have to get to a place where we have to go back historically and start being a village.
But the question would be, and I'm gonna throw this out for you,
okay,
Daphine,
I'm listening,
and Brother Carter, and even Crystal, why is some of the younger generation parents are not willing to parent their kids, and why are they out there allowing these kids to kind of be?
Let me tell you something.
Up on their own.
Big Mama, you remember Big Mama? Big Mama used to wear that long dress, and and we all went to the house, and Big Mama got on your case. Big Mama is today. Big Mama wears a short dress today. It's a short skirt that's shorter than her daughter's. And Big Mama ain't trying to put this at. Big Mama say, I ain't got time to be messing with that child out there. I'm trying to get mine right now. Big Mama ain't but what, 34, 40 at least. Big Mama used to be 60, 70 years old. And that's the difference we have today.
So then,
That's just
what
Brother
I'm hearing,
Carter's
so
point
what
of
I'm
view.
hearing, and it could be part of it,
Mhm.
because I don't think that in all cases, I think that there are some younger parents that are having to, with some fathers missing in the home,
Mhm.
they're working around the clock trying to hold everything together, and they're tired. And so what ends up happening, they end up trying to, keep the kids quiet, keep the kids, just calm down.
Don't bother me.
Don't bother me right now. Mentally, I'm drained. I just want to get in. I still got to figure out how I'm going to pay this rent. I've still got to figure out how I'm going to feed you. And the last thing I want to deal with is your attitude. What can we do? I hear you say you have a nonprofit, and you started off with young men.
Young men
now
gathering.
You talk to gathering. Now you're talking
young
to
people gathering.
Young people. In your gathering, is that some of the conversation? Or you?
Absolutely.
Let's talk about that.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Because the fact that I was the stern parent, but then again, had to be the parent for today's children. Because the children is not the same as when Big Mama was there. And we have so much technology and so many things that are out there for the kids. They can easily, if we don't tell them, all they got to do is Google it, or Bing it, or
there you go,
or Yahoo it,
and they believe what they read.
They're going to believe what they read.
I've even heard parents say often that the child think he or she is smarter than me.
Yeah,
and Crystal, can you elaborate on that? I bet Crystal can talk about that.
Come on, Crystal.
So, repeat what you said. I was
about being smarter. A parent saying that child thinks she's smarter than me, or
think I don't know what
I'm talking about. I used to tell my kids.
That's a conversation me and my mother always have.
Well, let's talk about it.
Because I've been around here some 6 decades now. And back then it was 3 or 4 decades. I said, you ain't even made a decade and you trying to tell me that you know more than I know?
Yeah. So Ms. Crystal, you want to share with us why is that?
I don't want to offend y'all in the room, but
why you just that? Because what you're saying doesn't mean that it's true.
It could be hypothetical. It could be that we say that because we're willing to learn and y'all are not.
That's good feedback. So in other words, we feel when talking to us, we tend to not want to hear you guys.
Yeah, because y'all already know.
We know everything.
Y'all done went through it. So it's like you telling me, it's basically, I'm telling you what's going on, what's happening now.
Right.
Girl, nobody paying attention to that because back in my day, we didn't do it. Nobody cared.
Right.
So it's no point in me trying to learn it. But now it's like, okay, if I don't ask you for the help or like this, if you don't ask me for the help, you're going to sit there and be like, you want me to automatically help you, but you want to have an attitude while I'm trying to help. So if you don't want to learn,
I feel what you're saying. I feel what you're saying.
That's all I'm saying.
So in other words, what I'm hearing you say, we also are closed ear.
Very much so.
And the problem, and that goes right back to how I feel.
Now, I mean, she got a point when it comes to education, because don't come asking me about no what is that? What is that called?
What?
Don't come asking me about geometry and all this kind of stuff. Chemistry and all. Yeah. Don't come asking me about that. I don't know none of that stuff. So in that
all I know
aspect,
is 2 + 2.
Yes, I do know how to count 2 + 2.
But what she's saying, that's true on one end.
That's what I'm saying.
But that's also how some of us tend to, in the older generation, is I know everything, and if we're unwilling to have a conversation,
or just be honest that you don't know,
because with that too, like even that brings the conversation. Okay, well, you don't want to learn. I don't want to learn. You don't have to teach me. Then we just gonna both be sitting here, and it's Like now I can't even come to you and try to.
So now you got to go get your information somewhere else.
Right.
That
right.
may be
Right.
slighted.
Not
Right.
yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
this is a case of two people trying to have a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Both want to be understood,
Mm-hmm.
and nobody wants to understand.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a case of a conversation. People wanting to stay stuck in what they know versus being kind of what you're saying.
True.
Instead of saying, okay, I want to have a conversation. Your opinion matters, and what you have to say matters, but so does mine. I can learn something from you. You
Right.
can learn something
And
from
that's
me.
how you have to do it with these kids these days and time. And so I started out late. I wasn't 20, 21 getting married and having a child or having a child, period. I was almost 30 before I had my first baby. So with that, we have to listen to them,
right?
And come at it with them to see, because that's pretty much, and if my kids are listening, if mama hadn't been like you thought I should have been, but I tried to place myself in a position to listen to them.
That's right.
When something goes on, that don't get me wrong, karma is a and I remember how I was growing up, and it comes back, and you get that challenging child that you know was like, ooh, she just like me when I was little. So, but for these kids, again, these days and time, we have to talk.
We have to talk because, and bringing it all back to the conversation.
Yeah,
you have to listen.
If you are unwilling to talk and give them a platform that they can get it out, and then we listen, because they're going to take that frustration and everything back into that school system.
That's right.
Or
to
back
the streets,
into wherever.
To their
and now
friends.
they're going to get caught right up because they're frustrated, they're angry, there's no outlet. So they're going to start acting out.
Yes.
And they got somebody sitting right there waiting on
Yes,
them.
exactly.
So back on track, would you say that's part of what's going on with the generation? Can you talk to me?
Yeah, I to sum it all up, I think everybody all kind of really had what.
It's twofold, huh?
It's definitely
These days and time, again, it's a two-way street.
Yes.
We can't be the parent that how we were raised.
There you go.
And I always say I'm the modern version of my mother.
Yes.
Seeing how strict she was and being a preacher's kid, she did allow us to dress out for gym.
Yes.
You know, we Kojic. But then there were the other preacher's kids. They couldn't dress out for gym.
Yes.
So she was trying to a degree, but it wasn't good enough for me, so to speak.
So you got your own shorts when you got to the thing.
Go,
baby,
them white gym suits we had to wear.
Yeah.
We had to go to Wieners to get them. And I would find the shortest one. Because we couldn't wear pants growing up.
So when you got the gym.
Baby, when I put them little things on and I strutted in that gym on the Dick Dowling campus over there on the southwest side. Yes. But it's different. It's different these days. When I raised my girls, I allowed them to wear pants. And I know I was teaching our doctrine and all of that, but to have raising them in these days and time, just sitting in the school in a dress and dressing, kids are going to act, they're going to tease, they're going to do everything because I kind of got it when I was in school, and I would always have a good comeback with it where trying to cover the reason why I don't wear pants.
Right.
But again, when I got my children and raising them, it had to be different.
Right.
It had to be different.
And I think that, there is a time for Big Mama.
Yes.
But I think we're living in a time where it is important and it's imperative that we are able to create our own Big Mama, so that our kids are able to relate.
Yes.
These kids today, these young adults and the younger kids, I always talk
millennials
about
and Gen X.
Yes, I always talk with my grandkids.
Oh, you have grandkids?
Oh, yes, we have 9. And they call me, and I just talk straight to them. They wear my number because they know I'm just going to ask. If I have a question, I'm going to ask that question.
That's right.
Are you my grandson? If you're listening, I'm going to ask you. Are you protecting yourself?
You have older grandkids?
I have 22 years old. Yes. Are you protecting yourself?
Y'all look so young.
Thank you.
I'm
But again,
a baby late.
it's important that you have real conversations.
Absolutely.
You can't sit around and expect that they're going to feel safe and comfortable coming to talk to you.
Absolutely.
If you so holier than thou and you so pent up and that they can't relate to you.
They know they can't come to
They
you.
can't come to
All right. But let's navigate our way back to the incriminator. What? Tell me how that helped you.
I'm going to tell you how that. I got this here. That's why y'all see. That's why.
Tell me how that helped.
That's why I'm the host and he is my co-host.
That's right.
Okay. Now, the reason how we get back to the criminal justice system, it goes back to communication.
Yes.
Okay.
And having openness and talking to our children and giving them a platform and a safe place to come and have a conversation. If they get themselves in some trouble and you've already created a safe environment and a place where they can come and talk to you about anything.
Right.
They don't have to figure it out.
They don't have to figure it out.
They already know.
Educate. Here's what's going to happen if you do this. Here's what can happen if you go. Now, I done talked to you, child. Now you're faced with dealing with the criminal justice system and injustice. Now we're gonna have to figure this thing out. But it's opening up, and so did I bring that back?
You did.
Okay.
You did.
I wanted you to do that. That's why I'm your co-host.
Okay, so now we want to go back in here to the social media.
Historical injustice. Go ahead.
I'm going to go back here. What do you think about social media roles in advancing both sides of the battle in the humanity and equality? Humanity and humane.
Okay.
Human
Now,
equality.
You're saying about social media?
Social media, do you think that did I say that question right y'all had? What did y'all have here?
I don't see that.
This was a question
and this is actually
I think
Steven's question.
Steven, and he done popped in here too. Steven
so funny.
Steven is the one that found you.
Yeah, what do you think about social media and its role in advancing both sides of the battle for human equality?
Oh,
yeah.
That's the question.
That's the question.
Those big words.
Give me a
dictionary.
No, my team be throwing that.
They be throwing it.
Yeah.
So let me see how I can answer I can answer it correctly. When it comes down to social media, now I'm a big social media person. I'm not the best, but I do keep up,
right?
Because of the platforms that I do. That we're on. So I have my Facebook page. I have my Instagram. I have a Twitter that I get on every now and again. I have my LinkedIn page. So people have taken social media and have put all of their business on social media. And to me, social media is to build a platform for us to progress.
Okay.
That's the reason, because when I get on my page and I see some junk, delete, block, report, and all of that stuff. But so many times people, and I don't know who hear this, that I'm talking to them and I really don't care, not being ugly, but social media is to tell what you're doing, what you're progressing in. And then I'm very, very cautious with when I do take a trip.
What you post?
What do I post? Now I might have took the trip a year ago, and I'm gonna post on there that I was in Ghana, and that was a whole freaking year ago. But for safety reasons and precaution, you posting, here I am in Jamaica. I was in Dominican Republic early for December for Thanksgiving, matter of fact. And I didn't post it not until after 2 or 3 weeks, maybe 3-4 weeks I was back at home. So saying all of that is that we take the social media to put our business on, to degrade people, to talk about folks, to throw shade and all that. And all you need to put on there is how well are you doing? What are you doing to serve the community? What are you doing to help somebody?
Right.
What do you have on there that's inspiration? I can read it that day if I'm having a down day that would encourage me. I got to pop it open. So and so this big bank, and this is that and the other. And her mama and just
that speaks to who they are.
Yes.
And really, to be honest with you, I
Right.
don't want you on my timeline.
Exactly.
So you will get deleted.
And sometimes report.
Because if that's all you're bringing, by you being on my timeline, you're also feeding your negative to the people that are on my timeline. And I don't want any association with it. So that's so I like what you said there.
Yes.
So it does.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's all about what you put into the social media.
Right.
It's not the social media.
It's not the social
what
media
you put
itself.
into
Right.
it. Yeah. Like I said, Facebook has done me well.
Yes.
Instagram has done me well. Meeting people and people tapping in. I mean, how did y'all find me?
Yeah.
Probably social media.
Yes.
I'm putting out there what I'm doing good.
That's right.
And everything.
And it's manifesting.
manifesting.
And there's allow you ways to keep up with your family members.
Absolutely.
Your family members always communicating back and forth. So
and
it
my
can be a
adult
good deal.
children, if they put some on, I'll be like, what? She lost my girl. What is this?
Take that off.
Oh yeah.
They called me the faith. They used to call me. They all got off of Facebook, but they called me the Facebook police because if something didn't look right, not baby. Did you mean to post that?
Yeah. And I try not to get too much into it. I'll be like, look at this, and I just be like, wow. But but if it's my adult children that's posting something that's not conducive to the well-being of their teaching and the spirit and all of that, I let them know.
That's right. Well, let me ask this question here. Do you believe our country is doing enough in its efforts to eliminate discriminatory policies?
No.
Well, he said no immediately. So let's marinate in that.
Marinate.
So let's think back in 1935, 1940, 1955, even much. Could you go jet skiing?
Nah, there you go.
Okay.
There you go.
So whereas today I can go get a jet ski and be on the water like
everybody else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Snow skiing.
Couldn't do it.
What's another one they say?
Could you go to the pool and get in the pool at the hotel where everybody else?
Right. So that's the reason why it has done some type of change.
Okay.
It might not be to, because we're the Black Lives Matter now and all of that. And so it has changed. Now, is it good?
Okay.
I can say that it's good, but it has changed.
Okay.
And
that's why we have you on the show.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
You're a professional. You're a professional at this.
Well,
help us to see the change, girl.
I'm just saying that it's we're not backdooring to go into the restaurants anymore, and we can drive certain cars. We can live in the blended communities. In spite of, we do see the things that people
and they may say, well, why do you have this on your
those things, and so I can say that it has improved.
Okay.
Do it need some more improving? Yes, absolutely. Because I have a 19-year-old son that when he say, "Mama," at 10 o'clock, because he's on campus and he needs to come and get something from the house, and my husband says to him, "No, you stay home and we'll come to you." What are we thinking in our mind because of
cops or maybe something happening out there? Yes.
Okay. Now it's a fear that we don't want to live in fear.
However, it's a reality
yes.
Of some of the things that are
10
going
o'clock.
on
No, son, we're coming to you. You're not that
don't
far.
Worry about it. We got you.
We're on our way.
Those are things that you have to educate yourself about, and you have to be aware of what's taking place out there also. So
with that being said, right along that same line.
What time do y'all get off the show?
We are off at 10. Are you ready to go?
No, just wondering. I didn't know how. So it's actually 8 to 10.
7 to 10.
Jeez.
Yes.
Okay. So we still got some more.
We got just a little time.
We got some more stuff.
Yeah. So
y'all working me over.
I
didn't even drink no coffee.
Oh, well, baby, you want us to get you some coffee? You tired?
I'm good.
I know.
I can run my
got
mouth.
This. So I have just two more questions that I want to ask. So along the line of the injustice,
yes.
Do you believe that we play into, as a people, do you think we play into the narrative of the injustice? What I mean by that is sometimes we have our stereotype. We believe that things are one way.
Right.
And when in fact we don't have all of the facts together. So can you elaborate a little?
Absolutely, because and I do probably get in trouble and I don't care.
That's okay.
But just being able to talk about, and it's funny, we would be talking these using the bias and all of these words. I'm working on my second master's in criminal justice at Sam Houston. I didn't change. I got some from Texas A&M, Sam Houston now. So, but I'm studying social psychology, and these words that you all are talking, this is stuff that I'm reading about right now. And the chapter I'm on now is talking about prejudice. And so it's just this is funny. But my take on that is that when a crime is committed, we jump to conclusion, they did this and they did that, and it shouldn't have been. But educate yourself. At the end of the day, find the facts, because that's what things are being based on. Don't get the wrong facts. And I thought about the Central 5 that was accused of beating this lady up, and they railroaded those boys into talking. And then the boy that got it the worst, he was just going down there to support his friends. That's all he was doing. And he got the worst end of the deal. But in spite of that, while in prison, and I don't know why I'm talking about that show, it had to come back. And that's where all the with the wrongful convictions and all of those things, people spending so many years in prison and all of that, because the truth is going to eventually come out.
The truth will always come out.
It always come out. If it take 10, 15, 20 years, the truth has to come out. And so with the system and the injustice, it's there.
And what about with us? That's the one thing, if I can leave our listeners with, that I really want us to kind of think about as we are wrapping the show up, is what about us and our biases? I just have a urge for us to really kind of be honest and frank about that. We walk around with a lot of bias.
So black woman, me walking down the street, my Dooney and Bert, and a white man is coming towards my way, not looking the best. I'm just gonna keep walking.
But okay.
If I'm walking down the street with my Dooney and Bert, and a couple of 2 or 3 of our children come walking by,
you grabbing, doing some of the same.
I promise you.
I'm here to tell you.
We experienced that yesterday. We went to in 3rd Ward over there, and my wife was like, I can't leave my purse. I say, Val.
Not Miss Val. She didn't do that.
Leave the purse there in the car. I'm gonna lock the car up, because that's that feeling you have in the neighborhood.
Tell him, Miss Val.
I'm gonna give the whole story of that. But part of what he was saying was true.
Okay.
It wasn't the fact that we were in 3rd Ward. Here's what the problem was. I was supposed to make a bank run.
Okay.
I had my big suitcase right here, and I had cash money in my purse. And so even though we were getting ready to run in and look at something, and then I also have that little key that he had his keys, but my key, if it was left in the car, it's not going to lock the door.
Yes, it is.
Well,
you didn't know that though.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Right.
And I had my purse in the car.
Yeah.
So it wasn't so much for me. We just happened to be in the community of us.
Just right. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't one of the best, but it was more about I knew what I had in this purse.
Exactly.
And all it took was a second. Now I have walked down the street and I have seen some of our own other owns that may not look right. That could be my son or could be, and I tend to walk a little different when I see them. So that is a bias. So in that case, that is very true. But yesterday it was something else.
That's different. I can understand that. Yeah. Whether you were sitting in River Oaks
or wherever,
3rd Ward or 5th Ward, you had
some cash money in that purse,
stuff,
and all it took was a
Yeah.
hit that window and I'm gone.
Right, exactly.
But what did I tell you?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
What did I say to you?
Uh-oh.
You said
Uh-oh.
it's gonna be all right.
I said I feel safer here than I would in around.
He actually said River Oaks.
That would be. I feel safer with them than I would in River Oaks. They ain't gonna bother nothing of mine because they see me just like I see them.
Well, I'm glad,
and I have.
I'm glad you have. I'm glad you felt that way.
I did.
Y'all
I
too
did.
funny.
So we do have to take another quick pause, but I want to throw something out there about historical injustice before we take this break.
Okay.
I mean, not before we take the break, but we want to ponder on.
Okay.
Is there anything the parent of Trayvon Martin could have said to him to avoid what took place? Is there anything Mike Brown parents could have said to him to avoid? Anything Emmett Till's parents could have said to him to that this injustice
they could have avoided
this taking place? We're gonna answer that when we come back.
We got a few people, but we want to acknowledge, but we want to go back and answer.
I told you this morning it was gonna be hot this morning.
You did.
Didn't I tell you?
Yes, you did.
Didn't I tell you?
So we're gonna come back to the question that Brother Carter put
and I don't really know if there's an answer for the question I just asked, but I just wanted to bring this up because historically injustice has been taking place for some time.
Right.
And I'm wondering, is there anything we can do, that we can say to avoid this type of injustice that take place? I know sometimes we can be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
And sometimes we just we look a certain way.
Okay, can you ask the question, or are you gonna talk us through it? Because I want to answer. I'm gonna let our guest go first. I'm gonna give you my opinion on that.
So the question was: is there something that we can say or do that would have made a different outcome for these individuals and many, many more?
Wow.
I know.
So, my opinion.
Yes, ma'am.
Is the parent had good intent and thinking that if Trayvon go to his dad's house for the sake of, because he was smoking marijuana or got in trouble.
No, I think he had Skittles. He went to the store first or something like that.
No, she talking about the reason.
The reason he had to go to his dad's house.
Oh, because he was being a young boy.
Being a young boy. And so it's so sad, so devastating. And people being biased, people stereotyping. Because I was thinking when that happened, and we always say this as the Black community, what if it was a white boy? You know? But it wasn't. And was there bias in the man that killed him? Murdered him. And it just, I don't think it's a concluding answer. Because I looked at it, well, he shouldn't have got in trouble in the first place. And I thought about that.
And then my opinion would be, what can you say or do when you don't see something? If I don't see a pothole right there, before I drive over that pothole, how can I prepare for that pothole? You don't see it. I don't even think that as a mother, how I could have prepared my child who was he was living with his father, but he was just going to the store. That he was going to run into. And please understand when I say this, and I'm saying it from the best part of me, an idiot.
Yes.
A fool. A savage. That would question him being a human being, feeling like he's threatened. The child wasn't coming towards you, wasn't doing
nothing.
When I think of Emmett Till, how could his mother could have prepared him? She didn't see the pothole. You know, we can go on and on and on and on and on. You know, if you don't see the pothole, how can a mama say, baby? All we can do is tell our children, be careful.
Be careful.
All we can do is pray because we don't see the potholes.
We don't see the potholes, and that's a good way of putting that. And with that being said, at the end of the day, there's a time and a season, and we don't know the day nor the hour. I'm gonna be 60 in April. God's willing.
All right.
I would love.
Welcome to the club.
I'm looking forward to it because I was bad when I turned 50. So you can imagine what I'm gonna be like at 60. Can't tell me nothing.
Oh, I'm here to tell you. I'm here to tell you.
I'm looking forward to it, and my goal is to live until I'm 100.
Yes.
But I don't know what pothole that's going to be there that even means. We raise our children the best we knew how. I have a 19-year-old son, and I'm seeing all the arounds, the pothole of the mother who just sent her little boy to get his coat out of the car.
Right.
Yes.
Just a family the other day going to the grocery store. A pothole, didn't know, random.
Yes.
I was driving on the Beltway coming home last night, and I'm have to ask God to give me a peace of mind because of so much going on. I drive looking straight. I don't look over there, look over there. I just drive, and then I just, God protect me, because you know you be thinking stuff.
Right.
Will I make the news tonight? Just going home.
I just want to go home.
Yeah, and so we can't say those people who face those potholes. That is such a good. That was good.
That was good.
Yeah, facing those potholes that they do not see.
You can't say it's something they could have done different.
You can't say they could have done different. And like I said, I was like, well, Trayvon didn't have no business doing that. He wouldn't have got killed. Well, Mike Brown shouldn't have been doing that, and he wouldn't have whatever. And Emmett Till, if he whistled or didn't whistle or whatever they said he did, that was just a pothole that we have no control over.
Right.
And at the end of the day, God knows all the plans.
Right.
He knows them all.
He knows them all.
So that question was raised because I want the listeners to know something. Many of us are raising children out there.
Yes, sir.
And you can't be in every place and everywhere that your children are going.
Yes.
You do the best you can to prepare them for the world.
Yes.
And I basically want to say, especially to those that have experienced some things in their life, don't try not to carry the guilt of, I wish I had did this or this, I had done that.
Yeah.
You've done your job the best you can do.
Exactly.
And like our host just said, you didn't know it was going to be a pothole when you send the child out there to do this or that. And so you have to get to a place where you're not feeling the guilt of another person's wrongdoing.
Yes, exactly.
Injustice is out there. It's out there. Let's just face it.
It is what it is.
And so just continue to just prepare your children, continue to speak to them and talk to them about things, and tell our young men, pull your pants up. Pull your pants up. Put a belt on.
Yes.
Don't be afraid to talk to
don't you ain't gotta walk around and show your I don't want to see your dirty underwear. Pull your clothes up, young man, and present yourself.
And there is a way to do that without further degrading them, because if they're walking around that way, they already 9 times out of 10 probably not really feeling good about
and I experienced that. That's funny. My daughter said, "Mama, don't say that. Mama, don't." So I was picking her up there. I think it was the oldest daughter, might have been the middle one. They graduated from the same high school I went to, and so cute little young boy, he had his pants. And I let my window down, and I don't be bothering the folks' children. I just, because you just never know.
You just
So I decided to let my window down. I said, "Excuse me, young man, yes, ma'am. He said, yes, ma'am. So that was an indication.
It's okay. He's
yeah, exactly. I said, pull your pants up. Why you have them hanging down? I said, now, I'm a parole officer. I say, now, what they say about the boys with their pants down in prison, I mean, come get it. And he kind of smiled. I said, I bet your parents, do they know your pants down like that? He told me no. I said, well, just go and pull them up.
And it's the approach.
That's the approach.
And I have been one of those parents that would always say something. It's always in how you talk to
how
our
you
children.
talk to
How your
them,
delivery.
how your tone is. And my kids know how they know their mama crazy. But they say, mama, well, if you had said it this way, or mama, if you had done it this way. And I'm humble enough to say, you're right. I was wrong. And when I'm wrong, I try and be. Sometimes mama be mad. I'm not going to say I'm wrong. But at the end of the day, I know I was wrong.
Once that seed is planted, you can't do nothing about that seed because it's
out. You can't take it back in.
I want to say that I have absolutely enjoyed this conversation. I really hate that we have to get to the end.
That's okay.
This will not be injustice is injustice.
Yes.
And this will not be our last conversation. And we should not just stop talking about injustice because once the month of February is over.
Yeah, it's Black History every day.
Every day.
All
we
year
need
round.
to be educating ourselves, as you said when you first came on. Education. Education. Education.
And it's two words that I like. Educate, communicate. Educate, communicate. Communicate, educate. Those are two things. If you get those done, I just feel like it would be better.
I agree with you 100%.
I mean, if your hat is red and I don't like your red hat, why can't I be, girl, that red hat don't. You need to get a brown one.
I think a brown will probably look better.
Yeah.
I got something for you. Next time I see you, I'm gonna bring this hat.
Exactly.
You.
Instead of John Doe, you said red hat. I can't stand that hat. Yes. Stuff like that.
Yes.
Too many of us walk around and you see something on somebody's nose and you don't want to say it.
That's a peeve of mine. You need tissue.
Yeah.
And another peeve of mine, I'll be in the airport fixing folks' collars.
Yes.
I see a collar turned up, I fix their collar.
Yeah.
And my kids are, Mama, don't touch him, folks.
Oh Lord. Well, I want to tell you guys, I have found a sister from another mother, and I absolutely love her. Kindred and spirits have a way of connecting.
Yes, ma'am.
We are at the end of the show, and there is a certain way. I love her. There is a certain way that we end this show, and I'm going to try and be the last voice you hear. But before we go, Crystal, we had some great comments and feedback that have come out. What comment? Because it was coming so fast. Which one stood out to you the most out there? Is there a special shout out you want to give? Give them all one.
I definitely have to give the shout outs to the people that were on and commenting. So we got Miss Cynthia Wilburn, we got Miss Nakia Franklin, we got Miss Deborah Mitchell, we got Stephen Cazares. We got a couple of people that actually came in and shared some stuff up. I know Miss Nakia was dropping some dimes. The whole entire show. And Miss Cynthia was dropping some, and even Steven stuff. So definitely.
This has been a great show.
Give us one of the nuggets that
was dropped.
She put another one.
So
the last comment she just said.
What did she say?
We must know and understand that no matter how we raise our children, they may stray away before they come back to what God has for them. We must do what God has for us to do. Love this.
All right then. Okay then.
I like that.
Miss Nikita Franklin, you are truly one of God's chosen
girl.
one.
Yes.
So we thank you. And of course, Miss
you,
Wilburn,
Nakia.
Nakia, I'm sorry for mispronouncing your name.
I said it wrong too.
Miss Wilburn, you know, neighbor, what you do. And so I am the last voice that you will hear. We will start with our guest, our esteemed guest. Tell the people how you enjoyed. We're getting ready to wrap up. Tell the people how you enjoyed the show, and if you want to leave them with how they
Any
can get in
last
contact.
parting words.
Parting words and how they can find you and your platform.
Okay. My name is Daphine Priscilla Brown Jack, as the bishop over here.
She
I had to give a title. But I have truly enjoyed being on the show. I appreciate you guys finding me and reaching out. And the thing that I would like to leave and how you can find me, I have my platforms on Facebook, Instagram. My nonprofit is Prevention Zone, Inc. My podcast, if Emmett Was Alive Today podcast, the only one to pop up if you just put Emmett's name podcast.
And I brought his name up in the show.
Yeah, it's Emmett Was Alive Today, and I got that from my daughter, giving her a little nugget. She's like, "Mom, you need to do a podcast." No, but here we are.
Beautiful.
And so you can find me there. And I have an affirmation that I say every day is, and I can't even think of it. Keep a positive mindset keeps you focused on your purpose. A positive mindset keeps you focused on your purpose. And so I'll leave you guys with that.
All righty, and Miss Crystal.
This was a really good educational and conversational show that needed to be had. I thank Miss Daphine for coming in and just being honest and truthful about her experiences and everything, and just being candid to the whole audience. I shout out to Stephen for finding you, because you definitely was the right guest for this conversation.
Thank you. Thank you.
Brother Carter.
Good morning.
Bishop Carter.
Hey man, I didn't think I was gonna have anything to say on this particular topic. I wasn't prepared for this, but God always, in the midst of things, give you some kind of word.
Yes, sir.
And you can base just about anything we experience in life to the word of God. So I thank God for just being able to give me a voice, a platform that we might be able to speak to people.
Absolutely.
Concerning, and this was a good topic today.
Thank you.
The name of the topic again,
Historical
injustice.
We went all up in it and around it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We
Part
jumped all in.
It sure is.
Right.
Yes.
It's a lot to it.
So the thing is, this injustice is out there, and there's no way around it.
Yes,
we can't change other people. We cannot change the way they feel, and we can't change their hearts or their minds. But we do have control over our own heart and mind.
Absolutely.
And so therefore, having said that, let us take care of ourselves. And then when we take care of ourselves, we're not afraid to help one another.
That's right.
God bless you. Thank y'all for listening to the Love and Victory Show with Val.
All righty. And again, this has been a fantastic show. And I thank God for connecting me with my sister from another mother.
Thank you. I'm honored.
As I said, there is potholes out there that we cannot see. There's some we see, and there's some we can't see. Just remember, there are potholes, and as Brother Carter said, we have no control over if you've helped someone, or if someone made a decision to do something and you tried to help them, don't hold on to the guilt. Or if you didn't, just don't hold on to the guilt.
Let it go.
You have no control over things that you didn't see.
Outside of yourself.
Outside of yourself. And again, the Love and Victory Show with the Val loves you. Every Saturday, we try to give you candid conversation and give you a few trinkets that you can live with and grow on. Again, we love your comments. Don't be afraid to give us your good, the bad, and the ugly. That's the only way we can grow. We love you, and until next Saturday. Oh, Crystal, before we go, how can they find us?
They can find us everywhere.
Oh, wow. That's good.
On Instagram, LV with Val. On Facebook, The Love and Victory Show with Val. On YouTube, where you have to subscribe to get this candid conversation every Saturday morning from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Central Standard Time.
Subscribe.
Subscribe.
Subscribe. Please do that.
Please subscribe so you can turn on those post notifications so you can get notified when we go live for this good candid conversation live on Raise the Praise 100. And then you can also find us on www.lvwithval.com because everything is love and victory. Everything is love and victory with Val.
Until next Saturday, we'll see you guys. Have a good weekend. Enjoy your weekend.
Oh, wow.
Thank you.